yesterday very much.
Discutimos el tiempo ayer mucho.
And I'm going to talk about another site that Scott and I have dug together.
Voy a hablar de otro sitio donde yo y Scott trabajamos juntos.
And he was my boss at this site too.
Yo era el jefe en aquel lugar también.
Let me make sure this connection is good. Okay, there we go. All right, so we're good. So we're going from one country to another.
Estamos moviendo de un país de otro.
Yesterday it was the country of Jordan.
Ayer era Jordania.
And today we're in Israel, Palestine.
Hoy estamos en Israel, Palestina.
Pero in order to go there, we must first stop in Egypt.
Primeramente comenzamos en Egipto.
You may or may not know, but the Nile River
Quizás saben que el río Nile
flows from south to north.
va sur al norte.
In fact, question, which way do all rivers always flow?
¿Cómo siguen las corrientes de los ríos siempre?
All rivers always flow from
Siempre van
the mountains to the sea,
las montañas al mar,
from high to
de
low.
arriba a abajo.
Doesn't matter which direction,
No es importante la
north,
dirección,
south, east, or west.
es cuestión de elevación.
So,
Entonces,
the mountains are in the south,
las montañas están en el sur
and they call it
y les llaman
Upper Egypt,
Egipto arriba, upper,
even though it's down south.
aunque es en el sur, porque es más
It
alto.
flows from the mountains
Fluye de las montañas
to the Mediterranean Sea,
hasta el mar Mediterráneo.
and there by the seashore,
Y por la
it's
costa
called Lower Egypt.
les dicen Egipto más bajo.
But we're not going to Upper Egypt or Lower Egypt.
Pero nosotros no nos vamos ni de arriba ni de abajo,
We will go to Middle Egypt in
por
between.
el medio.
And at Middle Egypt, there was an ancient
En
site
medio de Egipto había un lugar anciano,
called Akhetaten.
Akhetaten se llamaba.
The modern name is Tel El
El
Amarna.
nombre moderno es Tel el Amarna.
And at Tel El Amarna, Akhetaten was a capital city
Era una ciudad, un capital de Egipto,
founded by an Egyptian pharaoh by the name of Akhenaten.
fundado por un faraón que se llamaba Akhenaton.
Akhetaten was founded by Pharaoh Akhenaten.
Akhenaton fue fundado por Akhenaton.
And he was also known as Amenhotep IV.
También usaba el nombre Amenhotep el IV.
But he changed his God
Pero cambió su Dios
and then changed his name.
y después su nombre.
So in his capital city,
En su capital
we found a number of clay tablets,
encontremos bastantes tabletes de tierra,
almost 400 of
casi
them.
400.
They are 3,500 years old
3,500 años.
and telling the story of the king of Egypt and other countries nearby.
Y dan la historia del faraón de Egipto y los otros países cercanos que fueron bajo de él.
We call these tablets from Tel El Amarna the Amarna letters.
Usamos el nombre letras de Amarno, tabletas de Amarno.
Over 375,
150
and they were sun-baked or air-dried.
no fueron cocidos en un tabú, no un kiln,
Yes, no kiln. Very, very small, all of them.
chicos,
Hold in your
se
hand.
caben en su mano,
They were written in the Akkadian
en
language,
el idioma acadiano,
Mesopotamia,
que viene de Mesopotamia,
and they used the cuneiform script, the international languages script of their day.
y el acadiano y cuneiforme era el idioma y manera de comunicar en el mundo antiguo.
These very small tablets
Tabletas chicas
were written on both sides,
escrito en ambos lados,
and if they had more to say, they wrote on the
y
edges.
cuando había más de decir, aún en los lados.
Do you do notes like that too?
¿Hacen sus notas en clase así? ¿Sí?
Oops.
Oh.
Yes. Okay, there we go. The majority of these tablets were written from Pharaoh, they were written from other places to the Pharaoh. These were the original letters.
La mayoría de las cartas fueron escritos de otros lugares hasta Faraón en Egipto.
Only 10 were copies of letters that Pharaoh sent to other people.
Solo 10 fueron copias que él mandaba a otras ciudades.
They came from the first half of the 14th century
Vinieron del
BC.
primer mitad del siglo XV antes de Cristo, AC.
Yeah.
No está conectado bien.
Sorry. Got it on here, okay. 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 All right. And there's a picture of him right there. Most of the tablets of 375, 292.
292 de las
Should I try to do something?
375.
I am technologically challenged.
Tenemos problemas.
Okay? Thank you, my friend.
Una vez más. Okay.
All right. So, just the final thing. So, of these tablets, most of them were from Syria, Lebanon, and Canaan.
La mayoría del Levante, Siria, Lebanon, Canaán,
These were countries, these were regions that were controlled by the ancient
países,
Egyptians.
regiones abajo de Egipto, parte de Egipto, pero bajo de Egipto.
And they are housed today in a number of museums.
Ahora están en varios museos.
Berlin, the Egyptian Museum, British Museum, and the Asmoleum.
Y pueden ver los países donde están.
So they're in the capital city of Amarna,
En Amarna, en el capital de Akenatón,
one particular building called the House of Foreign Correspondence.
un edificio particular que se llamaba Casa de Correspondencia Externo.
There were places where there were pits that had, with these tablets had fallen in.
Había lugares donde habían colapsado los muros y ahí estaban
Almost 400 of
casi
them.
400.
So this is the House of Foreign Correspondence
Esta es la
today.
casa de correspondencia hoy,
At least this is the way it looked when I visited in 2000.
aunque en el año 2000.
Mud brick walls,
Ladrillo,
and inside there were tables or shelves, and they fell off.
ladrillo de lodo y colapsaron todo.
The site was eventually abandoned
El sitio era abandonado
after Pharaoh Akhenaten died,
después que murió Akenatón.
and the Egyptians rejected his God,
Los egipcios rechazaron su Dios, era el Dios del sol.
the god Aton, and they went back to the other god, the god Amun.
Y prefieren el Dios Amun.
Very, very sorry that this is happening.
Sit there, Gary. We can fix it every time it goes through.
Okay, all right.
Somos muy flexibles.
Man, we did good yesterday, but not today. Of all of these letters, all these different regions and countries,
Esos son regiones y países,
most of them, as you can see, were Syria, Lebanon,
la
and Canaan.
mayoría en Siria, Lebanon y Canaán.
And of those letters to Syria, Lebanon, and Canaan,
De estas cartas,
these are the cities,
estas son las ciudades,
they were the cities,
como Hatzor, Jerusalén, Megiddo, ciudades así.
and the two most important ones
Los
for
dos
us
más
today,
importantes para nosotros,
King Lebahu of Shechem
el rey Lebayú de Shechem
and King Abdi-Hibba of
y
Jerusalem.
Abdi-Hibba de Jerusalén.
All right, next. You want to maybe try. Oh, yeah, very good. And one of the issues between those two city-states,
Uno de los asuntos entre ellos,
each one of them controlling vast amount of territory,
cada uno en control de su territorio
they
pleno,
were rivals for the central mountain region of Canaan.
estaban batallando para el centro de Canaán. Uno en el norte y otro en el sur, batallando por el medio.
Unlike Egypt, which was a unified
No
empire,
era como Egipto unido,
these were individual
pero
states
estados individuales,
that were always fighting.
siempre peleando, batallando. En inglés decimos city states.
And in these letters,
En estas cartas,
a particular group of
un
people
grupo particular
were a problem.
había problema.
They are in the Akkadian text. They're called either Essegas
En acadián les llamaban Essegas
or Hapiru.
o Apirú.
And these people were seemingly, together with the king of Shechem, Lebahu, more than Jerusalem.
Y ellos estaban en el lado de Lebayú de Shechem, en el norte, no de Jerusalén.
Okay, we'll try the next one. Thank you, my friend. You have the good touch. I will not touch. You have the good touch. Oh!
No voy a hacer para cambiarlo a esta compu, porque creo que esto lo está cambiando la compu.
I want to change computers.
And we can't, except it's on there. We have to put it on stick.
Buen USB.
So we're going to be looking in the central mountain region of Canaan.
Estamos viendo en el central, en la región de las montañas de Canaán.
There is Shechem,
Ahí está Shechem,
there is Jerusalem,
ahí está Jerusalén,
and there is, and right in between,
en medio
Bethel,
es Betel,
right near our site, Khirbet
muy cerca a
el-Maqatir.
nuestro sitio, Khirbet el-Maqatir. Toma su agua aquí.
Thank you for your help. The other thing, one to stop Who is this? Will you?
Alan.
Alan. Thank you, Alan. Okay, so we're going to be going now to this, right next door to Bethel.
Ahora
We're
vamos a
going
Betel.
Khirbet el-Maqatir.
Al lado, al este, es Khirbet el-Maqatir.
Yesterday, we had this map up and we just added one more thing to it.
Ayer usábamos esta mapa.
Do you know what this
¿Qué es
is?
eso? El Mar Nuevo. Correcto.
Do you know what this is?
¿Y eso qué es? Río Jordán.
Do you know what that is?
Ese es Hamam Beretera.
This country today is called,
¿Qué país es hoy? Jordan. Jordán.
yes, like the river. This is today,
¿Y hoy qué es? Israel o Palestina,
yes,
correcto.
very good. So yesterday we were here at
Allí
this site.
estábamos en Tal el Hamam.
We talked a little bit about this site,
Hablemos un poco de Tel Sultán, Jericó.
Jericho, and now we're going to go up into the
Y ahora
mountains,
vamos a las montañas,
Khirbet el-Maqatir.
a Khirbet el-Maqatir.
Now, this is a picture
Es una vista, un
from
retrato
Tal al-Hamam yesterday,
de Tal el Hamam ayer,
looking across the Jordan River,
mirando al otro lado, a
Jericho,
Jericó,
and Khirbet el-Maqatir up
Khirbet
in these
el-Maqatir
mountains.
en las montañas.
Next. This one is from Khirbet el-Maqatir,
Este es de Khirbet el-Maqatir,
and Tal al-Hamam is right there.
mirando al otro lado, y ahí está Tal el Hamam.
We can't-
Exactamente opuesto.
Cannot see where the Jordan River is,
No
but it's
puede
right
ver
in
el
between.
Jordán, pero está en medio.
Next. Dead Sea,
Está el Mar Muerto,
Jordan River,
Río Jordania,
Tal al-Hamam,
Tal el Hamam está en el lugar de Shittim,
and Khirbet el-Maqatir and
y
Bethel.
Maqatir y Betel, que en la Biblia siempre son juntos, si recuerdan.
There's a major road
Una carretera
Came through here,
significado,
all the way down
yendo al
to
norte hasta
Jebus.
el sur a Jebús,
Jebus was one of the names for
Jebús
Jerusalem.
era otro nombre de Jerusalén.
So here is the capital of the Jerusalem city
Está la
state.
capital de Jerusalén,
Here is the capital of the Shechem, the Shechemite city state.
capital de Shechem, de su región.
And just so you know, this is the site of Shiloh, where Scott is the director and I work.
Y el lugar más importante en el Medio Oriente, Shiloh.
And you could join us this year or
Ustedes
next year
pueden
or
venir
next
con
year.
nosotros a trabajar en este año o el año que viene, claro. Claro.
A commercial break.
Estamos buscando involucrados.
Professor Marcos
Profesor Marcos
was with us this last year,
trabajaba con nosotros en el año pasado.
and not this year, but next year.
No va a venir este
God willing.
año,
He is going to
pero en
He will come.
en 21 va a venir
be with his family,
con la familia
God willing,
and his students.
and bring students.
Y sus estudiantes, ojalá. Listo. Ya está.
Unfortunately, you have to pay for your own way,
Pero necesitamos dinero, no tiene suficiente ingresos,
but he could probably give you credit.
pero probablemente pueden ganar crédito
Yes, we do
para la
credit. Yes, yes,
excavación.
yes, yes. So
Listo.
we would love to have you.
Será un gusto tenerles.
That is about Shiloh. Now we go back to Shechem,
Pero ahora regresamos a Shechem, Jerusalén.
and our understanding is almost in the middle between them
Entendemos que en el medio entre ellos,
is Khirbet el-Maqatir
Khirbet el-Maqatir
and
y
Bethel,
Betel,
and the valley between them
y el valle entre los,
is probably the border between
probablemente fuera la frontera entre
Jerusalem city state.
Jerusalén y Shechem, sus territorios.
Next picture. All right, so just a few things. Khirbet el-Maqatir was excavated for 14 seasons.
Excavamos 14 temporadas,
I excavated there for 11.
Gary 11 y yo pues más o menos 11 también.
How many was that?
Counting the winter seasons, 11 also.
Okay, awesome. 11 for each.
11.
All right. Yesterday at my site in Tal
Ayer en
el-Hamam,
mi lugar en Tal el Hamam,
6,400 possible squares
640
to dig.
cuadros para
We
excavar
had only excavated
y han
170.
excavado 170.
Khirbet el-Maqatir
Khirbet el-Maqatir,
maybe have 200 to excavate.
200 cuadros más o menos.
And in 11 years, we
En
excavated
11 años
75.
excavamos 75.
Unlike Tal el-Hamam yesterday,
Diferente de Tal el Hamam ayer,
we would go down 6 meters
donde tienen 6 metros de profundidad,
and still not find bedrock.
ni llegar la roca bedrock.
At Khirbet el-Maqatir, bedrock is less than 1 meter.
Khirbet el-Maqatir normalmente menos de 1 metro.
There was no big rampart creating a large tell,
Tuvieron el rampart alrededor, formando el tel clásico.
and ruins were from different
Las
periods
ruinas de periodos diferentes.
within the old Bronze Age city wall
Entre los muros de la antigua ciudad del bronce
and outside.
y alrededor.
And it was built, it was constructed in the 16th century,
Construido en el siglo XVI AC
and it was destroyed in the 14th
y
century,
destruido en el siglo XIV,
150 years later.
150 años de habitación.
So as we noted, it was along the north-south highway,
Fue por la carretera norte al sur,
also an east-west crossing
también
road,
una carretera del este al oeste,
which made it an important location to be
entonces era
controlled.
importante para controlarlo.
And then it was on the south side of the Wadi Gaya,
En el sur del Wadi Gaya era un arroyo,
Arroyo. And so it likely served as the northern fortress for the Jerusalem city-state.
probablemente era una fortaleza en la frontera del norte para Jerusalén.
On the south side was Jerusalem and Khirbet el-Maqatir.
Al sur fue Jerusalén y Khirbet el-Maqatir,
Right across the valley on
y
the
en
north
otro lado del valle
was Bethel or Beitin
tenían Betel o Betín
for the Shechemite city-state.
para Shechem. Uno guardando el otro ahí.
The Bronze Age city we would be looking at here
El bronce que estamos considerando aquí
was just 1 hectare.
era solamente 1 hectárea.
Yesterday at Tal al-Hammam it was 25.
Alamán 25 hectáreas.
Very different.
Muy diferente.
The next major period at Khirbet
Otro
el-Maqatir,
periodo significado en Maqatir,
the Roman period, and the site was double.
romano temprano decimos era doble 2 hectáreas.
Also, there was a Byzantine church and monastery for an even later period.
También tuvimos una iglesia del bizantino.
What started us finding the Bronze Age city at Khirbet el-Maqatir
En el principio encontremos
was the discovery of a gate socket stone
un socket fundación para las puertas de la ciudad en 95.
in 1995.
En 95.
I
¿Saben quién es?
must tell you, Alan, that was me in 1995.
En 1995.
I was the one that found
Él
this,
encontró el primero.
which led to the gate.
Entonces por
Which
eso
led to the
encontremos
city.
la puerta y luego la ciudad.
In the end, we found 6 of those
En total
stones,
encontremos 6.
4,
Aquí está, 4.
and in each gate, each gate had a post
En
that
cada
stuck
puerta
out of the
había
stone.
un poste
And then at the
de
top, there
abajo
was
hasta
another stone.
arriba con otra piedra más chica.
So I'm the post,
Él es el poste.
stone,
Piedra,
Stone.
piedra,
door
puerta
was attached to the post.
conectada al poste.
As the post turns in the stones, the door opens and closes.
Abre y cierra.
Very good, very good, very good. And each gate would have a
Cada,
door
cada
post here,
puerta tuvo puerta,
and door post
poste,
here,
puerta con poste,
top, bottom stones,
Arriba y
each
abajo.
one. And we probably had 2 different sets of gates, 4 different sets of gates for this gate.
4 puertas diferentes en el sistema de las puertas de la entrada de la ciudad.
And we think this was one of the top stones.
Probablemente era de arriba, más chico.
Bottom, maybe a top.
Los más grandes abajo, los más chicos de arriba.
Here's the gate.
Aquí está la puerta.
Now, with archaeology, so you know, when there's dotted lines,
En arqueología, cuando tenemos líneas con dots,
The dotted lines mean we think that was there,
Significa que pensamos que era así. No hay evidencia.
and the solid line was for sure.
Las líneas sólidas tenemos evidencia.
We had this part was very clear.
Eso era muy claro.
A little bit there, this part wasn't clear.
Esa parte no
A
era
little
clara.
bit there, but based on the walls and other things,
Pero de los muros grandes,
like we said yesterday, the ancients built things symmetrically.
como dijimos ayer, usaban construcción simétrica.
And so many gates have been found across the
Y
region.
hemos estudiado muchas puertas en la región.
We think this is the right construction.
Podemos decir que con una manera de confianza que era la construcción.
And he believes that because he's the director and he said so.
Y yo lo creo porque yo soy encargo y lo dije.
Two things that I want you to show you.
Dos cosas importantes.
One will be over here and one is right here.
Uno aquí, uno por acá.
There you go. All right, so one of the things that we found was a tower,
Aquí tenemos un torre
a round tower
rotundo
connected to the city wall,
conectando al muro de la ciudad.
a little doorway.
Una entrada chica.
We never got to go through it
No podríamos pasar
because it was the last day of the
porque
dig.
era el último día de la excavación de aquella temporada.
We came back the next
Cuando
year
regresábamos en el próximo año,
and the landowner had built a
el
big fence
dueño
around it,
de la tierra había construido una cerca grande alrededor,
planted trees,
plantado árboles de olivos
and would not allow us in.
y no permitía que entráramos.
We will never know what was
Nunca
behind
vamos a
that
saber
door.
que era así.
Yes.
Qué triste.
We found many of these.
Encontramos muchos de esos,
They're stones.
son piedras
They are flint nodule
de
stones.
flint,
And these were used as sling stones.
eran balistas para tirar, muy pesadas, para
About the
onda.
size of tennis balls or
Una pelota de
billiard balls.
tenis,
Some of these, they make them very round,
no son perfectamente
very
redondos
smooth, to make them aerodynamic.
para que van mejor en el aire, con onda.
Some of the stones might not have been made as sling stones, but they were used as hammers, pounders.
Unos quizás se usaban para otras cosas, pero en tiempo de crisis los usaban también.
Or would even have been used as pounders in the kitchen.
Sí, o utilitarias en la cocina.
But when someone is attacking your city,
Pero cuando alguien está atacando su ciudad,
you use your sling stones,
usa sus balistas,
your wife's cooking tools, your own
de
tools from the
cocinar,
garage,
todo
and
que
you
tiene,
throw
así
it.
que tiras, su computadora, no.
We found dozens of these.
Encontramos pues casi 100.
Also, we found this is cut into bedrock.
Aquí estamos, ¿cómo se dice bedrock en español?
Roca madre.
Roca madre. Roca madre, ok. Estamos ya en roca madre.
We're on bedrock. We dug down about 18 inches
18 pulgadas y
and
llegamos hasta
came
la
down
roca
on
madre.
this. You see this?
¿Lo veían? La tapa.
That was a hole that had been cut into bedrock
Fue cortada
and
en
then
la
a
roca madre.
lid put on top.
Una tapa.
It has been like that. It was covered like this
Estaba así.
for 2,000 years.
2000 años hace.
Maybe
Así,
three.
quizás 3.
And we found it.
Y lo encontremos.
Could not wait to open it up and look inside.
Ya adentro.
Maybe it was a passageway to something underground.
Quizás un pasaje, algo importante.
Have you watched Indiana Jones?
Han sido
Yes. So,
Entonces,
we opened it up,
lo abrimos.
and out popped the
El
Canaanite.
granito.
This is the college student
Ese es el chico
that once we opened it up,
cuando lo abrimos,
he went down
se
and
entraba,
cleaned it out.
lo limpió,
2 meters,
2 metros,
2 meters, only dirt,
solamente tierra,
nothing else.
nada, no había cerámico.
The good news is,
Las buenas nuevas,
there are always college students willing to go down into
siempre hay
holes to find things.
chamacos dispuestos a entrar a los pozos.
And we always have holes for college students to
Siempre
go down
tenemos pozos
into.
para entrar.
So come and join us at Shiloh.
Todos ganan.
Also discovered
También
inside the city
tenemos en la ciudad
was this great big jar,
una jarra grande,
and then other pieces of other jars around
jarritos
it.
chicos alrededor.
And it looked like just broken pottery,
Parecía como fue quebrantado cerámica,
but careful excavation
pero
revealed
excavación podríamos ver
that it was an infant burial.
fue el entierro de un recién nacido.
And the big jar was the coffin,
Jarra grande, los huesos estaban adentro.
and the others were what we call grave
Los
goods,
otros usaban para su región, su ceremonia,
buried with the dead.
junto con el muerto.
We don't know if they would maybe have food
No sabemos que quizás
And
a
then-
veces tuvieran aceite o comida
and then bury it, either with food that was left or
para
not,
ir
but
con
bury it.
el bebé,
Or if they left it for the dead, they didn't eat it as food, but they left it for the dead. We
quizás
don't
para el
know.
muerto o para el dios o dioses.
These are the jars
Son los jarras
that were found,
que vienen.
and they help to date the time
Por
of
eso
the burial.
podríamos dar fecha a los huesos.
So these are very important indicators for
Es
archaeologists,
muy importante que indiquen la edad,
telling us the time period that the city was occupied.
que sabemos la fecha del cerámico, también podemos decir la fecha de la fortaleza.
The big jar is very important.
El más grande es más importante,
It was used as the coffin.
fuera el coffin
For the
donde
baby.
entierran el bebé.
So
Y aquí está,
you can see the jar was in many pieces.
en muchos pedazos.
We use Elmer's glue.
Usamos un glue muy especial que se llama Elmer's glue.
Do you know Elmer's glue?
¿Saben qué es Elmer's glue?
Yes, we use Elmer's glue and put it together. Next picture.
Está reconstruido.
But this part,
En
there was
aquel
nothing
parte,
here.
¿por qué no había nada?
And then when we look closely, we
Al
realize
mirar más cerca,
this part had been taken out
fue intencional,
thousands of years ago.
quitado intencionalmente.
The top, the neck, was too narrow to put the baby in.
El bebé no entraba por el cuello,
They opened up the bottom,
entonces lo
put the
abrieron
baby in from the
para
bottom.
entrar el cuerpo del bebé.
When we excavated, there were only a few bones inside, others were laying around.
Tenemos pocos huesos adentro y otros alrededor.
Probably some animals had gotten in
Probablemente
there.
animales habían movidos.
And so this was all that was
Eso es
left.
que encontremos.
Okay, next picture. Do you know the word scarab?
¿Saben la palabra scarab? Escarabajo,
It's Latin.
latino.
In Egypt, the word scarab is
En
kefir,
Egipto dicen kefer,
Egyptian hieroglyphic.
jeroglíficos.
And a scarab is
Scarab is, un escarabajo es que,
Go ahead.
ajá.
Do you remember the movie The Mummy? Yes.
El mummy,
Scarabs. Yes. And for the Egyptians, a
los
scarab
egipcios un
was very
escarabajo
special.
fue muy especial.
And they actually made, go ahead, give me the next picture. And they made special amulets,
hicieron sus amulets
Amulets?
especiales.
and those amulets often had, the amulets had the scarab on the top.
Siempre la forma del escarabajo.
Can you see
De
that
arriba.
scarab there? Scarab on the top, even has legs on the side of scarabs. And then the bottom they began to use that for a seal or a stamp.
De abajo era como una estampilla.
When I came into Mexico
Cuando
Monday
entré a
night,
México el lunes,
I went to the customs.
fui a
And the man opened my passport with a great big stamp. Stamp my passport. This kind of stamp
Es como un tipo de estampilla.
was pressed onto wet clay.
Sí, en cerámica cuando fue mojado.
The only people that had stamps were government
Los
officials
oficiales usaban normalmente los
or
escarabajos
wealthy, important
con
people.
gente de importancia.
And there was actually a hole that goes from one end of the scarab to the
El
other.
pozo entre a un lado al otro lado.
It was either sitting on a ring
A veces estaba parte
Finger
de
ring.
un anillo
or maybe on a
o
necklace.
quizás por aquí,
If it was your finger ring,
si era en su deuda,
you would have the ring with this part on top.
esta parte sería de arriba,
Take it off, turn it over,
muévalo
and then
y
make your
úsalo.
stamp.
Y quiero decir a mi segundo, ellos alababan el escarabajo porque pensaban que pujaba el sol cada día. Atrás.
What did he say?
They worshipped the beetle because they thought it was the sun.
Yes. And this scarab is not from our dig site,
No es nuestro escarabajo,
but we will show you one in a minute.
pero tenemos unos para ver.
There is the god
El
Kefri
Dios Kefri
that they worship.
que la alababa,
A man form, but
cuerpo de hombre,
with a beetle head.
cabeza de escarabajo.
This is a modern artist drawing,
Es una
not an
artística
ancient picture.
moderna, no es anciana.
Okay, next one. This scarab was
Este
found
escarabajo
at
fue-
Khirbet
Es
el-Maqatir.
nuestro de Khirbet el-Maqatir,
It's from the Hyksos period,
viene de los Hyksos,
16th century.
el siglo XVI AC.
We believe that was the period that Khirbet el-Maqatir was constructed.
Fue el tiempo cuando fue fundido nuestra fortaleza.
This is another scarab from Khirbet
Otro
el-Maqatir.
escarabajo de Khirbet el-Maqatir
From the 15th century,
del siglo XV antes de
we believe
Cristo.
it's the time of the
El
destruction,
tiempo de la destrucción de la fortaleza.
150 years later.
150 años después.
This is the top
Es la tapa
of the scarab.
del escarabajo.
Not a good beetle, but you can see it.
No es un buen escarabajo, pero más o menos.
Here's the hole that went all the way through
Pueden ver
for the
cómo
ring,
pasa para
and
el
for the
anillo.
necklace.
Con oro, normalmente con oro.
Also, not very good legs, but they have legs on the sides
Es
of
que
both.
tienen piernas, pero no los pueden ver muy bien aquí.
And here is the seal
Aquí
itself.
son los símbolos,
This was the important part.
estampilla,
And this is a griffin,
es un griffin,
an animal. Do
un
you,
animal
do
mitológico.
you know what this looks
Es
like?
ese símbolo a la derecha.
Looks a little bit
Cruz,
like
pero ¿qué dicen en Egipto? Ah,
Yes.
el arca, un símbolo de vida.
Egyptian ankh, and then another, and we don't really know what that means, do we?
Ya, Neter, es el símbolo de Dios, que significa Dios.
All right, so those are the things we found at Khirbet
Esos son
el-Maqatir.
los escarabajos de Maqatir.
Remember the round tower in the back?
La torre de atrás,
Because from the gateway it was over here, we think maybe
de
there
la
were two.
puerta pensamos que
Never found
quizás
it.
había dos.
The gateway was a
O sea,
large.
la puerta era grande,
A gateway was just not a door in a wall.
no era simplemente una entrada, por ejemplo, de
It was a
nuestra puerta.
complex, a
Era un
building
complejo, un sistema.
with the roof was used for walking and fighting.
El techo para los
A
soldados,
couple of different levels on
otros
top,
niveles,
and then the walkway through the double
y
doors.
la entrada entre las puertas.
about 1.5 meters wide.
Metro y medio de ancho.
A wall all the way
El
around.
muro alrededor,
Built in the 16th century,
construido en el siglo XVI,
destroyed in the 15th
destruido
century.
en el siglo XV. Veamos.
So, in conclusion,
En conclusión,
we think what we have is a small but significant fortified Bronze Age city.
tenemos una ciudad o fortaleza chica de la edad de bronce.
It controlled the major north-south and east-west highway crossroad.
Que controlaba las carreteras del norte al sur y el oeste al este.
And it represented the northern border of one city-state, Jerusalem,
Representaba la fortaleza de la frontera de ciudad de Jerusalén en el sur.
Did I say all that?
No, but I got stuff.
Okay, okay. And right across the valley
Y del otro lado del
was
valle,
Beitin or Bethel,
Betel,
from the southern city, from the
guardaba
northern kingdom
la
of
frontera
Shechem.
por Shechem en el norte.
Based on what we found archaeologically,
Bajado en lo que encontremos,
we see was the biblical city of Ai
quizás era la ciudad de Ai, mencionado en la Biblia,
that you can read about in Joshua 7 and
en
8.
Josué 7 y 8.
And that was actually the reason we dug the
Por
site.
eso estábamos buscando,
To see if that would be
investigando
true.
las posibilidades.
And then yesterday, Scott also pointed out
Después yo dije que
that in the Roman period,
en el tiempo
the time of the
romano,
New Testament,
en el primer siglo,
that maybe our site was also called Ephraim on the edge of the desert.
quizás era Efraín en el río del desierto.
There are wonders of Mayan archaeology, and we're going to go to see
Cosas
some today.
maravillosas aquí para ver y vamos
Yes.
a ver unos de ellos hoy.
And this is a marvelous place to
Un
excavate
lugar maravilloso que tienen aquí
and find grand ancient
y
ruins.
encontrar ruinas grandes.
But we admit, because of our interest in the Bible,
Admitimos que tenemos interés en la Biblia y el mundo antiguo.
digging in Israel and Jordan is very special to
Excavando en
us.
Israel y Jordán es muy especial a nosotros.
And we would love to have some of you join us and Professor Marcos
Son
sometime in the near
invitados
future.
a excavar con nosotros. Ojalá,
But I hope you love archaeology,
ojalá que
At least
amen la
appreciate it.
arqueología,
and I hope you'll be able to participate in
que
excavations
pueden
even right here.
participar aquí y en cualquier parte del mundo.
Wonderful things to find here in Mexico.
Cosas tremendos para encontrar aquí.
Thank you.
Gracias.